Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Titan del 86. Here you will find everything from your favorite characters from anime, series or movies such as figures, statues, trading cards, and other limited special edition items. I will show you everything that is included. For example, we will discuss the design of the box, how it's packaged, the design of the figure, the articulation points, the accessories that are included, and we will see our favorite characters in special scenes. And you never know, you might see other characters make special guest appearances, so you can decide whether it's worth getting or not. Subscribe and join me on new weekly adventures. Now let's start the show. Let's go. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Titan del 86 and today from Marvel and Hot Toys I present to you Wolverine. This is how Wolverine appeared in the movie Deadpool and Wolverine. This is the deluxe version. So this is figure MMS754. For some reason this figure took really long time to get. I was surprised that I had to wait for it this long. Looking at the front of the box, it comes in this protective sleeve that has an image cutout of Wolverine. The box style has a very similar one to the one that we saw from Deadpool. If you guys recall that video, if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go check it out. Where it has the Wolverine cutout, then in the back you can see a slash from the Wolverine claws. Hopefully you can see it, but the front picture basically wraps around the two sides of the box. I do like the theme of the box of how the yellow transitions into a black shade. So it's shaded very nicely. On the back side of the box you basically have the logo of Deadpool, and you can see some reminiscences of some bullet shells. There you could also see the credits. On the last side of the box is basically the continuation of the front image, where you have the scratch marks of the Wolverine claws. As you can see, the box is very glossy. Once you remove the protective sleeve, immediately through the window you can see the Wolverine figure, which on this one is basically Hugh Jackman playing Logan, also known as Wolverine. One thing to notice about this box is that it has the same marking patterns that we saw in the Deadpool box. The only key difference here is that it doesn't have those chalk sketches as much as the Deadpool box did. So here you can see some of the same ones that were present in that box. For example, you have the Deadpool logo. As you go towards the back side of the box, you have another image of the Wolverine. He's got the claws across his chest. Then towards the top center, you have the Deadpool logo with the Wolverine claws scratching through. Coming around the box, you can see my favorite picture there, where you have Deadpool chasing Wolverine with the little heart shapes coming out of there. Once you remove the figure from the box, it comes in one giant blister pack. So here you can see the overall content, where you get two sets of arms, one that shows the biceps, basically a sleeveless version, and then another one with the full continuation of the suit. Then because this is the deluxe edition, you also get the battle damage chest plate. Here's a quick look at the instructions of the Wolverine. So here it gives you a bunch of warnings. Then it shows you how to interchange the different expressions, which is just basically swapping the bottom mouth plate. Then it tells you that the shoulder pads are magnetic. Then it gives you some articulating points on the movement of the torso. Followed by that, it shows you how to swap out the Wolverine claws to show them both in the full drawn position as well as the drawn back position. Then again, it shows you some of the articulation points of the arms to show you the degree of movement as well as the legs. So we'll see exactly how accurate these angles really are. On the back side of the instructions, it shows you how to swap out the head, how to use the tool to move the eyes. Then it shows you how to swap out the chest plate to display the figure in both the battle damage and the clean suit. After that, it shows you how to swap out the arms for the full sleeve and the sleeveless. Then it tells you how to swap out the different hands. Towards the bottom of the instructions, it shows you basically to be careful and that the figure is delicate, so be careful. I don't know why you would use tweezers, but I guess people do that. So here's the 360 of the Wolverine, known as Logan, played by Hugh Jackman. Overall, I really like the feel for the figure. One thing to notice as first impressions go, I'm really liking the key detail designs that they used, especially on the arms. The arms, if you look at them very closely, you can see that they really have that muscle drawn details resembling Hugh Jackman's arms. That's how he was displayed in the movie. The other thing is the latex material that they use for the arms. It feels very soft compared to the other materials used within the figure. The other thing that I like is how they did the suit. The suit honestly is really amazing. If you remember, I already did a Wolverine review of the S.H.Figuarts version of this character as shown in the movie Deadpool and Wolverine. And that is something that I'm going to use a little bit as the comparison between this figure and the other figure. I'm pretty sure because this is a Hot Toys figure, the articulating points are going to be very limited versus the ones that we saw from the S.H.Figuarts version of this figure. But one thing to note, the details here are amazing. I really like how they did the shading on the suit between the yellow to basically show the wear and tear within the outfit, as well as how dirty it is, which really brings the figure to life, giving it that feel of realism, especially when you compare it to what we saw within the movie. And again, I can't show it enough, but the details on this figure are really amazing. As far as the appearance category goes, Hot Toys did a really good job. He looks really amazing, and again, I always say this, but pictures and the video here probably don't do it justice versus you holding the actual figure yourself. One thing to note though is, I know sometimes in these figures, the material that they use for the outfit and the suits, sometimes they have a feeling of delicacy. This one, while it does feel a little bit delicate, it doesn't feel like the material that they're using over the body. It doesn't feel like it's very thin. An example of this is, for those of you that saw the Hot Toys version of Deadpool, in that particular Deadpool, the cloth that they used, you could really feel that material that they used felt very soft and thin, where here it feels a little bit thicker, similar to what I saw in the Black Widow artisan version. If you haven't checked out that video, I suggest you go check it out. The other thing that I'm really liking about this figure is that they gave you a lot of accessories and they gave you a lot of combinations that you could do for possible poses. Reasons for that is because you have the different expressions that came with the figure, and if you got the deluxe version, you can also swap it out to show the actual head of Hugh Jackman. So that gives you the variation to display him with and without the mask. The other thing is you got the two sets of arms to show it sleeveless or to show it with the full bodysuit. Then the other one is you have the options of showing him battle damage or clean. And the other thing is you could also display him with and without the shoulder pads. And that really gives you a lot of different poses and variations that you could display this figure. So I really like that. The one thing that I do feel that the figure is missing is the eye expressions. Unlike the Hot Toys Deadpool that gives you different eyepieces to show the different expressions, this one doesn't do that. So you only get one set of eye expressions when it wears the mask. Now let's check out what articulations come with this Wolverine. You got some really good head movement. So you can see the left, the right. This is as low as you can see. This is as high as you can see. And he also gives you sideways movements. So overall the head movement is really good. For the arms, this is as far as I can get them, or I should say as straight as they go, which again, that's really good. I'm going to remove the shoulder pad just so you can see the articulation better. So the joint feels a little bit like double jointed. So if you can see here, forward, back, forward, back. So you got a little degree of freedom there. And this one's one of the few where you can actually get a nice 360 out of the arm. And that is because the latex on the arm is independent of the body. So it's not like the other suits that we have seen, which all this is a continuous piece. Here is divided by 2, which gives you this movement as well. Nice up and down. So this is as far as the cross arms will go. I don't think there's any movement on the bicep there. I'm not feeling any joints there. There's the movement of the elbow. So you get a nice 90 degree there. You do get some rotational there now from the bicep, which I wasn't able to feel that before, but it's here. You get good up and down movement from the wrist, and you get a nice 360 out of it. So that is really good. You get some good up and down movement between the chest and the waist. You get some nice rotation there. It's very subtle, but it's there. Now, because of the suit, this is as high as the leg can go. You can see that I'm putting stress on the backside now. This is as far back as it goes, which is very limited. The split is almost basically not there. Again, I don't want to put pressure on the suit, to rip it. There's your knee. This does not come off. This piece looks like it's glued on. For the ankle, this is far down and this is far up. And because this is one piece, you're not going to get a good rotation out of it either, nor inboard nor outboard movements. So overall, he's got some really good articulation on the arms and the head. The body, the torso is somewhat semi, but the legs are limited. You don't get much play out of it. So overall, he's got some good articulation points as far as these Hot Toy figures go. He's definitely got a lot more than I was expecting. So there you have it. Here's a quick show of all the content overview just to give you some close-ups. So you have Hugh Jackman's head as well as the version with the mask, and then you can see that it comes with, in total, is really 4 expressions if you count Jackman's face. And there is something to note here, is Jackman's face along with the mask face is basically the same expression, which is somewhat of an upset neutral, if I want to call it that. But then you get the other 2 different expressions, which you are only able to use with the mask, which is a grinning expression as well as an action expression. And then I also gave you a close-up of the Wolverine claws, just so you can see how amazing they are. They look really cool. Now here's a close-up of the base that is included with the figure. It's not as fancy looking as the one that came with the deluxe version of Deadpool, but in this one, as you can see, not only is it glossy, but it's got a different texture there. So hopefully the light can capture that rugged pattern from where the Wolverine claws are cutting through the Deadpool logo. And as you can see, it's got different layers there. Hopefully the light in the camera can capture that, since obviously you can't feel it. So it does have a 3D factor to it, which is a good touch for the base. So it comes with this stand here, which is, again, I'm not really a huge fan of it with the 2 prongs. So here you can see how you can adjust the figure. The 2 prongs are spring loaded within the black piece. So that gives you a limited height of how you can display this figure. For this scene, I have Logan as he just finished doing a striking pose. What I try to do to replicate here is basically when he charged against Sabretooth and actually beheaded him. So in this one, I gave them the regular expression that came with the figure. I also have him wearing the mask, and I have him sleeveless with the clean outfit, non-battle damage. And here you can see again the figure. To me, it looks really amazing. The one thing that does limit the figure, and it was no surprise really, is the articulating points. I know Wolverine's most attacks were basically low to the ground, which was a lot of leg movement, but obviously here from the articulating points you can see that below the waist the articulation points are basically not really there. If it wasn't for the suit, then technically you would have that, but because the suit is very tight and it does have to a certain degree of fragileness, so it makes it very limited of what you can do as far as the leg poses go. So this is kind of the way of getting them into a crunched up position. Obviously, again, if you really want articulating points, you can go after the S.H.Figuarts version of this figure, which in my opinion is also really good. And as you can see, that's why I ended up getting both, because honestly I just couldn't really decide which one I wanted, so I went for both of them. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Obviously, I wanted to have the movie accurate version, which is what Hot Toys did here, and so far they did a really good job with it as far as all the details that you're getting. And the bonus is all the accessories that came with them, which is something that the S.H.Figuarts didn't do. The S.H.Figuarts basically just kept it very simple, but the one thing that made the S.H.Figuarts better than this one is obviously the articulating points, which gives you a really unlimited range of motion for that particular figure. Where here you can see that the figure kind of suffers from that, but you still have some really good poses that you can get away with it. One of the factors that really helped this figure out is basically the full range of motion that you get from the arms. Because the figure allows you to swap out the arms, it basically takes away the limit that you would have if the suit was continuous. Kind of like with the Deadpool and all the other figures that we've seen so far, where every time they make it in one continuous suit, the arm movement really suffers because of that. But here, because it's cut into 2 different points, the arms basically can move independently without being fully restricted by the suit, which gives you that good range of motion that you know is really there. The one thing that they like a lot about this Wolverine is the head movement. You really get some good articulating points out of that neck, which is basically it all makes up for the lack of the movement that you're getting from the waist down. One thing to note, the Wolverine claws, you can basically swap them out between each one of the different hands that come with them. So you can have them with both the claws in the full drawn position, or you can display them with different hand gestures and customize how you want to display the claws. You can have them fully drawn in or fully withdrawn. The choice is yours based on what you're trying to achieve with the figure as far as your display goes. Follow me on IG at Titan del 86. Let me know what are your thoughts on this figure. And again, what really attracted me to this one was the accessories that came with it. Not only because I really like Wolverine from all the X-Men characters, but because they really did a good job on the suit design. And also the specialty of Hot Toys that I really like is that actor accuracy, which is something that I still don't think that S.H.Figuarts has fully mastered. But when he's wearing the mask, he looks good in the S.H.Figuarts too. Let me know if you ended up collecting all the figures that are associated with this whole Deadpool and Wolverine movie, because I know Hot Toys has been very busy making all these different variants of these characters. I think they have a bunch of figures at this point now. For this scene, I recreated one of my favorite scenes from the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. So here I have Wolverine fighting Deadpool. Honestly, to me, that basically took the cake out of the movie. Is just having these two characters go at it at each other. So this is one of the scenes where Wolverine was coming at Deadpool with the blades, and then Deadpool defended with the katana swords, which were also made out of adamantium. For this one, I gave Logan the grunting expression because he's really struggling to fight Deadpool. Well, Deadpool has got the squinted eye expression. And this again goes to my comments earlier about the Wolverine figure lacking the eye expressions. It would have been nice if he would have came with the eye expressions similar to what this Deadpool figure has. One thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to have Deadpool's arms go in the full up direction, but obviously if you remember my video from Deadpool, I did mention how limited he was in that articulation range for the arms, which is something that this Wolverine figure is not limited to. So this is the best I could as far as getting that scene. But again, it still looks amazing being able to have both of these figures. Once again, go at it. Similar to what I did with the S.H.Figuarts versions. So honestly, I was actually surprised that I was able to pull this particular scene here, which again looks amazing. I think now they have like 13 figures all dedicated to this movie, which is something that I find really odd and interesting at the same time. And you can see how the marketing campaign really went at this particular movie, because the other movie that I can think of, and not including the Avenger movies that basically did every single character and also did different variants of that, would be the Spider-Man movie. I think in the Spider-Man movie it basically gave you all the different characters for Peter Parker, and those I would have to say would be all the Spider-Man movies that have came out, which would have been all the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies that he has appeared, especially the one from his last one, Spider-Man No Way Home, which they basically gave you all the different characters that came there. And that movie was really special because it kind of tied in the other two Spider-Mans from Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Mans, and also included all the villains from those movies. So in that one, comparing it to this one, I think it kind of rivals the same amount of these Hot Toy figures that we're getting from all these different characters that we're coming to see here. And obviously they all come with the special dioramas or special accessories that also tie them back to the main movie itself. And this particular movie is no exception. For example, this Wolverine came in two versions, the collector edition and the deluxe version. And on this one, as you can see, because this is the deluxe version, it gave you a new set of arms that have the full suit. And it also came with the battle damage version along with Hugh Jackman's actual face. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Going back to all the different variations that we have, in case you was wondering, there is a Wolverine out there with the TVA jacket version, and that one is basically similar to this one. The only difference is that he's got Jackman's face, but he comes with a removable jacket where you could actually see him shirtless. And in that design, he basically has all the battle damage scars and everything that he received, similar to what happened in the movie. and there he looks really good as well. But again, the gimmicky thing there is just to have him wear the TVA jacket. He also comes with some more accessories. Follow me on IG at Titandal86. Another variation that they did is the classic brown and tan suit. So this is one of the Wolverines that showed up when Deadpool was out there looking for the quote-unquote anchor pillar. And honestly, I'm still torn about this one. I haven't ordered it, and I don't at this point plan on getting it. But if there's another Wolverine figure that I would end up getting, I think in my opinion this one would be the one. I really like how the suit looks on him. Again, the special gimmicky on this one is that you can see the Incredible Hulk's reflection on the Wolverine claws, which is basically the signature mark within that particular scene where Deadpool kind of walked in between Logan fighting Bruce Banner. And again, in that one, it looks like it's a one-piece suit. And honestly, I do like the design of it, so in theory don't be surprised if I end up showing it later on, but as of right now I'm still on the fence on it, so it's kind of like a 50-50 whether I go for it or not. Obviously the stuff that comes with them is not fully 100% enough for me to actually pull the trigger on it and getting it. One thing to note, comparing the arms side by side, the one without the sleeve is a lot bigger than the one with the sleeve. As you can see here, you can see that the shoulder muscle along with the biceps are a lot bigger. And this becomes more pronounced when you attach the arm to the actual figure, where you can see the sleeveless arm covers more area out of Wolverine's body versus the one that has the suit. So I think in more comparison, the shoulder pad kind of hides that detail when you have them with the sleeve version of the arm. I don't know why they did it that way, but obviously here's a big difference between the two arms within themselves. Here's a quick look of what the figure looks like when you take the arms off. So here you can see the attachment feature that the arm attaches to, and you can see that it's surrounded by a foam pad around the corners. Obviously, I think with time, that foam pad is going to get worn out depending on how you display the figure. But just so you can see, it's more of a plastic inner joint. So here you can even see some of the details of how the neck portion is attached to the suit as well, in addition to seeing the layering of the outfit. For this scene, I have Wolverine with the action expression, and again I have him with the claws drawn out, but on this one I have him with the battle damage suit. So here you can see I still have him with the full sleeves, but now I swapped out the chest piece with the battle damage one, and I also did the same thing with the shoulder pads and the gauntlets, and I have them with both claws drawn out. And that is the one thing that I try to do with this figure, is to get them into that crouching position, but again, because of the limitation of the legs, this is the best that I could actually get them into that pose. And obviously I'm using the stand to help with the figure. The one thing that I would have liked to have seen on this base is if it would have been magnetic, similar to what we saw on the Black Widow, but this one is using the old technology. One thing to note, installing the battle damage chest plate, it basically has two prongs on the front and in the rear that you have to pop off when you're making the swap. The one thing that I found a little bit difficult on this one is that the guide pins, they didn't really line up like I was expecting them. It was like the tolerance was a little bit off, but at the end I was able to actually get it in there. And obviously this one was a little bit more difficult to put on if I was to swap it out and compare it to the clean version. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. But I would say, going back to this particular Wolverine, I'm still on the fence of getting the classic brown and tan. And following that one, there's another one out there, which is the Age of Apocalypse, which is an artisan edition of it. And that one, honestly, by looking at the pictures, it looks really amazing. Honestly, I didn't think too much of it from when he showed up in the movie. By looking at the figure that Hot Toys did, he actually looks really amazing. I really like how they sculpted the outfit, and also how they did the expression with the wool hair, resembling that it's an artisan edition. Obviously, I don't plan on getting them, but if you're in the market for a Wolverine, there's another one out there. So in theory, you have 4 variants of Wolverine that you can get, all that were featured in this particular movie. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up coming out with more variants, just because of all the different variants that showed up. And they did the same thing with Deadpool. Looking at the Deadpool one, they did Lady Deadpool, and that one she basically has all the accessories that showed up similar to the movie. I know in the stock photo she's doing a lot of high articulating points, but I'm really curious to see how accurate that really is, just comparing it to the Deadpool that I have and based on how that suit is. So I would be really surprised if you're able to get all those high articulating angles that they show on the figure. They also gave you Deadpool, and that one he's basically a little gangster, just showing how rebellious he is, and he looks really cool actually, especially if you post him with the hoodie on. But based off of that, you can basically assemble the whole Deadpool family there, because you have the Deadpool that came with Dogpool, Zombie Pool, and he came with Baby Pool. Then you have Lady Deadpool. I think she also came with a Dogpool, and then you have Kidpool that came with the couch. So with that, you can basically assemble and do a nice diorama of the 4 Deadpool variants, and which kind of creates a family actually. There's also another Deadpool variant out there, which is the battle version. Honestly, that one looks really nice too, but honestly I just couldn't find myself into getting that one, and the reason for that is because it looks exactly like the one that I already have. The only key difference there is that he's got more accessories that are tailored more towards having the Wolverine bones, and the one cool thing that I really like about that one is that they gave you the Wolverine claws that he basically takes off from his skeleton. Other than that, it's just a repaint suit just to make him look battle damaged and dirty. The other thing that they gave you is they gave you Ryan Reynolds' burnt face, which is fine, but honestly it wasn't fully enough to make me go get that figure. And finally you get the other version, which is Nice Pool, which also comes with Dogpool, and that one you can actually get a good expression of Ryan Reynolds. Obviously he's sporting the long hair, and again he comes with the same golden pistols that you got from the earlier Deadpool if you went for that figure. The one true element that is different on this particular Deadpool is that the suit looks a lot cleaner and it's slightly different, making it a little bit more shinier. But those are basically some of the different variations that we have seen of Deadpool, which basically mirror what they did with the Wolverine that you see here. So once again, it's pushing you to basically complete all the characters that ended up showing up in the movie. For this scene, I have Logan with Jackman's face sculpture on it, and he's holding Dogpool. In this one, he also has the battle damage suit, but this time I swapped out the arms to show it sleeveless. I also kept the battle damage gauntlets, but I removed the shoulder pads, which is something that I like. Is for the shoulder pads, you're able to display them with and without it, and the good thing is you got 2 sets, which is the battle damage ones and the non-battle damage. And the other thing that I like is that they're magnetic, so that makes them really easy to move around. And one thing to note, in case you was wondering, they're actually keyed. So if you look at the bottom, in case you're getting mixed up, you can see that one has the R and then the other one has the L to show you exactly which side they go on. Then it also branches out into the other characters. For example, they gave you the Human Torch, which I like that fake out to make Chris Evans sound like he was Captain America, but he ended up going back to one of the original Marvel characters that he played, which was the Human Torch from Fantastic Four. And honestly, I really like that figure, so I'll be honest, don't be surprised if you end up seeing a review from me based off that figure. I really like what they did on that figure. They gave them a lot of flame accessories on them. You can display him 2 ways. One, wearing the robe, or you can display him wearing his actual Fantastic Four suit, which is a more updated version than the one that showed up in that original movie, if you remember that. Hopefully you went and watched it, because I think to me those were the better Fantastic movies, and he looked really amazing there. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. At the time of this recording, if you're watching, I know they made the announcement of revealing Blade, Gambit, X-23, and Elektra. And as of right now, we already seen what Wesley Snipes' Blade looks like, as well as what Daphne King's X-23 looks like. So right now the Blade figure is already out there for pre-ordering, and I'm on the fence on that one too as well. I really like what they did with the Blade figure. They gave them a lot of accessories to go with them, especially that rocket launcher. That rocket launcher looks really amazing, and how they did the effect parts for it. So again, I'm on the fence on the Blade one, but I think if I had to pick my next one between those, I would say the Chris Evans version of the Human Torch would be the one that I would go after. But continuing on, X-23 has also become available, and in that one they didn't do too much with her character. You can display her with all the accessories that came with her, but I feel like they could have did a little bit more with her. But the big one that I'm really waiting for and that I would get with no questions asked would be Gambit. And the next one will be Jennifer Garner playing Elektra. They haven't shown those two particular figures, so I'm curious to know what they will look like. But I think for me, the Gambit one will be an automatic one. I'm still debating the Wesley Snipes one version of Blade, along with Hugh Jackman in the brown and tan suit. Honestly, out of all these characters, I mean, these are like characters that I really feel like I should be getting. I just didn't end up getting all of them. Obviously, it takes time and all that. Follow me on IG at Titandel86. For this scene, I have Wolverine again fighting Deadpool. And this one, what I did is I have him with the battle damage suit. But on this one, I changed the arms to show the full sleeves. And again, I have Hugh Jackman's expression as he's punching Deadpool with the left hand and ready to jab him with the right. And here you can see that Deadpool has got the baby knife, which he was about to stab him, but he was stopped in his tracks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the movie, I thought that Ryan Reynolds was a lot taller than Hugh Jackman. But here, seeing these figures side by side, you can see that the Wolverine one is a lot taller than Deadpool, which I'm not really sure that is movie accurate based on the two actors' heights. Let me know in the comments if I'm correct or wrong. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Looking at those figures, they look really amazing as well. But obviously, again, the one that is an automatically for me to get will be the Gambit, unless they really do a horrible job at them. So that is one that I'm really looking to get. The other ones that might end up in my collection, I'm still debating, would be the Blade, the Wolverine with the brown and tan suit, and that Johnny Storms as the Human Torch. But I think out of all of them, I'm really liking the Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts. Did you actually end up going and collect all of them, or are you planning on getting the full set? Because with all the figures, you can basically recreate a lot of scenes and just have all these characters, especially if you are a really huge fan of this particular Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I know it's one of the better movies out there, and obviously even up to this day I still like it and I still watch it, and it was really good of what they did there, especially with all the characters that they introduced. But to me, the one that really took the cake is this particular Wolverine figure that you're seeing here right now. Overall, I'm really liking this Wolverine figure. Obviously, I had to wait a long time to get it, but it was worth the wait. I really like what Hot Toys did with this particular figure. The details are perfection. I really like the two options that came with the figure, both the clean suit version as well as the battle damage one, which they're amazing and phenomenal. I also like the sculpture of Jackman, which really captures that expression that he had throughout the whole movie. Just watching Deadpool being an idiot, honestly. The other thing that I like is all the accessories that came with them, where you have a lot of versatility within the figure. You have the different expressions that you can do, so you can display them with Jackman's head. You can show them with the eye effects moving, which obviously I didn't show here, but you could also show them with the mask with the different expressions that come available for them, which attach to them magnetically. You can also show them with the suit damage, and you have a lot of versatility of what you can do with the Wolverine clothes, since they're not limited by the wrist. You do get a 3 set of wrists that you can display with or without the claws in the drawn out position. The only limiting factor on the figure is what they did with the articulating points on the pants, which I think maybe if they would have did them a little bit baggy, kind of like what they did with the Captain America of Anthony Mackie, just to give you a little bit more room of freedom to do stuff with the legs, because obviously with this Wolverine you're not going to get much out of it. But again, the specialty and the reason you're getting this figure shouldn't be for the articulating points. It's really just to get movie accuracy from the character. which this is something that this figure does extremely well. Again, if you're looking for the articulating points, then I would say go to the S.H.Figuarts one, which that one is also done very well as well. So again, it depends on what you're trying to get out of the figure. Obviously, if you haven't seen my video from S.H.Figuarts Wolverine, I suggest you go check them out. And I also did the S.H.Figuarts review of Deadpool to go along with it. Honestly, to me, these two figures, they're really good, and they kind of set two standards as well. They're basically a nice matching set to have in the collection. Like you've seen, I couldn't really decide whether to go for the Hot Toys version or the S.H.Figuarts, so that's why I ended up getting both. Believe me when I say this, they did not disappoint. So if you're a big fan of the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, these two Hot Toy figures are a must-have in the collection. This is all I have for you today. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. I'll see you next week with a brand new one. Thank you and bye.